Hello folks, and welcome back to the Chaps Guide. My name is Ash, and I'm your curator here on this channel where we like to talk about self-development ideas, style tips, and anything which help us to be better chaps. We're on the journey together. I'm learning alongside you as well, so it's a bit of good fun. Now today I'm getting back to a subject which is often spoken about when it comes to men's style, and it's a topic which I really am quite passionate about, and that's men's footwear, and not just different styles and types of shoes and boots, but actually how to look after them and how to make them work for you. In other words, give them a good shine and make sure that when you walk around, when you present yourself in a good pair of shoes, they will, really signal your arrival in a group of people. They will indicate to other people that you're somebody who actually looks after their shoes and goes that extra bit, because what I'm going to talk about today is applying a mirror shine to a pair of gentlemen's black toe cap Oxford. So the classic gentleman's uniform shoe, which is often worn in the most formal situations, and obviously in that situation, that's where you want it to look its absolute best. Now I don't advocate putting mirror shines on all shoes, because it can be a bit of a maintenance nightmare. When you're applying wax polish to things, you have to keep that standard up, because nothing looks worse than a mirror shine which has sort of gone past its best, and there's little divots and chunks missing out of that wax finish on the shoe, and it actually doesn't present you in a very good light at all. It makes you look a bit scruffy, if I'm honest. But certainly the shoes which I wear for my most formal situations, I do indeed apply the mirror polish, which I'm about to show you has always worked for me. So I'm going to spin the camera around and I'm going to show you how I apply a mirror polish to a brand new pair of shoes which has never had any wax or anything on it before. So it's not just showing you the mirror polish, it's how I would take a pair of shoes from the box to mirror finish. So let's go and have a look. Okay then, so here we are. Here are those wonderful Sanders shoes, and I'm gonna, so we can do a comparison. You can see how they are right now. They're sort of never been touched, never had any form of polish, conditioner, wax, anything at all placed on these shoes. They are as they were manufactured. In fact, there's a little layer of dust over some of them. So I'm gonna just take the left-hand side one, and I'm going to treat this shoe, and I'm going to show you how I apply a mirror shine to a pair of shoes which has never been touched before. Now, to do that, I want to make sure that the shoe is prepared and ready to accept that mirror shine. So the products I'm going to be using today, first of all, I'm going to condition the shoe. I'm going to use some Saphir Renovator, which is kind of the industry standard when it comes to conditioning, hydrating, and protecting that leather. Now, these shoes, as I say, have never been conditioned. So it's likely they've been on, well, I know for a start, for the last 23 years, they've been in my attic, which is a hot in the summertime, cold in the wintertime environment. So lots of shifts in temperature. In fact, I can see that they have been subjected to attack by vermin. There's a little divot missing out of a little tiny bit of leather missing there. You probably won't be able to see it, where a mouse no doubt has had a go at it. So they're likely to have been extremely dry. They've not had much care at all. So the Renovator, a very important stage to prepare these shoes to make sure that they're ready to receive the polish. After I've applied the Renovator, I'm going to apply some Saphir Pomadier shoe cream in black, because this, following on from the Renovator, which will condition the shoe and add some waxes and oils, this will then add more waxes and oils, and importantly, it will provide some pigmentation. So where the shoe, admittedly this one hasn't been in the sun, but if you've got a pair of shoe which has been leached of colour in some way, the Pomadier shoe cream will replace that with some pigmentation. After that, well, then there comes the wax. So the Saphir Medal d'Or wax polish I'm going to use to apply the first coat of all over wax to this shoe to get it ready to take the mirror shine. And that's just going to get the shoe to where it would be normally day to day. And then finally, to get that mirror shine, which I'm just going to apply to the toe cap, I'm going to use some Medal d'Or Mirror Gloss, which is just basically an enhanced version of the normal shoe cream there, the shoe wax, but it's a lot drier and it allows us to build up those layers to get that mirror shine a lot quicker a lot speedier than it would take if we were applying the sort of Medal d'Or version, because that one is a lot wetter or more moist, and it takes longer to get that going. What else am I going to use? The only other products I'm going to use a brush to take off the products when I've used them. I'm going to use a cloth to apply the Renovator and the Pomadia shoe cream, and finally I prefer to use a little cosmetic pad to apply the wax when it comes to the mirror shine, and I'm just going to use a little bit of water in a spritzer bottle, which will assist me in that process. So to get to that stage, first of all, what I need to do, I'm going to clear all this away that I'm not using, and the first product I'm going to need is in fact nothing more than the Renovator. Now the Renovator is a hydration cream. Basically, it's a bit like face cream for a pair of shoes. And in this instance, all I'm going to do to apply it, I'm going to take a rag. This is just a piece of cotton that I've cut from a shirt. You can buy specialist shoe application stuff, but in reality, it's cotton, it's material. What's the difference? So this is just a shirt, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to dip my finger in, and I'm going to apply it all over this shoe. I can apply it quite liberally, I can put it over the welt, I can put it anywhere we need to go, because all I'm doing is basically hydrating the shoe and giving it a drink, because it's been stuck in my attic for years and years. You know, extreme temperatures in the summertime when it gets hot up there, and in the wintertime as it is now, it's February. You know, dare say my attic, although it's insulated, will be a cold place to be. So the leather is not having, you know, what it might enjoy in life, and that's a consistent, nice temperature to live within. So as I say, the Renovator is, you know, it smells quite pleasant. It's there's nothing unpleasant about it at all. It goes on nice and easy, and there we go. All I'm going to do is apply that. The sole and the heel are all made of 100% leather on this lovely pair of Sanders shoes, which are, as I say, made in the UK, up in Northamptonshire, where a lot of the world's best ready-to-wear shoes are manufactured. And I'm just going to massage it in. I mean, I put it all over the shoe now. The goal now is to just let that dry. It'll take just a few minutes. Now, this pair of shoes has been starved of hydration. Yeah, it's been up there for a long time. This leather may well benefit from several applications of Saphir in actuality before we move on to the next phase. Tragically though, the reality is I haven't got hours and hours to do this, so like many people, when we are finding time to do shoe care, you have to compromise. And in this case, I'm having one layer of Renovator onto this pair of shoes before I move on to the next phase. Just got to leave that dry for a moment or two, and in fact it's virtually, well, it's dry. It's dry already. That was a very the leather here is a very blank canvas when it comes to products, so you know, there's no problem with it soaking in. People will say, oh, why haven't you taken the shoelaces out? You can do, you know, I could have done in this case, but the reality is, again, it's time, it's unnecessary, I can't be bothered to do that. I know, I just want to get on with looking after the shoes. You will also note that I've got a shoe tree in the shoe. Yep. That is just to aid me when it comes to applying the products, and of course it's better for the shoe as well. The shoe is maintained in its natural form by having that shoe tree within it, and it makes life an awful lot easier for me when it comes to putting on these products. If it's, you know, there's that positive resistance when I apply the sort of things onto the leather. So there we go, that's one layer of the Renovator. Now, as I say, I could go on and on, I could put 2, 3, 4 layers onto that, but truth is, I don't really have the time right now, so I'm going to move on to the next phase. In your situation, you're unlikely to have a pair of shoes which hasn't seen any product for, you know, 23 years. Like this pair, as you can see, it's never even been worn, never been worn whatsoever. So, you know, a real blank canvas for us to work on. Now I'm going to apply the Pomadia Saphir shoe cream. Now this has the great advantage of not just imparting oils and waxes onto the leather, which will protect the leather, it'll start to shine the leather, but it also has a great deal of pigmentation. You can't see anything really, it's just going to look black to you, but the pigment will be it'll just refresh the colour on the shoe. So I get my rag again. All I do, wind it around the finger yet again, get a little bit on the finger and apply it again. Now you'll notice that I'm using my hands inside a rag to apply the polish. Many people use a dauber, one of these sort of shaped brushes to apply these polishes to their shoes. Everybody to their own, really. I mean, I only use my finger because over time I have found that this helps me massage the material, the products into the leather, and I know that it's got where I want it to go because I can feel it. I can feel the contours of the shoe with my finger as I apply it. And again, you can go around all the leather parts, so on the heel particularly, on day-to-day use, the heel will, because it obviously is where the shoe comes in contact with the ground. This will deteriorate if you don't look after it. It'll lose colour. Some of the leather will, start to wear. So looking after particularly the heel and the bits where you come in contact with the floor, where the rubber meets the road, so to speak, is important when it comes to day-to-day maintenance. So there we go. I've applied just one coat of that. Caveat is, truth is, if I wanted to, particularly with this pair of shoes, elderly, not been done for a long time, I could spend a lot more time on this and I could apply layer after layer to really rejuvenate these shoes with this Pomadia shoe cream. But as I say, today, this, I really want to show you the mirror shine, and this is just the sort of precursor to that. So I'm not going to spend a huge amount of time on that. So now we apply the brush yet again. The product has been on for just a moment or two, as you can see, but again, I'm in a hot room. The leather was very receptive to the material, and it's already dried into a matte finish on top of the leather. I can see that it is ready to be taken off. So I'm going to take my brush, and again, using good strong strokes, I'm going to apply the brush to the shoe to make sure that all of the bits of that shoe cream which haven't been absorbed into the leather are now going to be, forced into the leather by the heat which is generated by the brush being applied to it, and also the friction of the bristles of this 100% horsehair brush, which incidentally is a must as far as I'm concerned when it comes to shoe care. And if you've seen any of my other videos, you don't have to spend a fortune on these. This was 15 quid, I think, from a cobbler's in London, and I've had it for years and years. I expect to have it possibly to the end of my life with a bit of luck. So it's an investment in the future when you buy good stuff. Now already, I don't know if you can see, catch the light, but this pair of shoes that was actually rather dull initially now has a nice shine beginning to form on it, and it's starting to look like, I could actually wear these out now. I could wear these out now, and I'm not saying, they would look fantastic, but they would look a lot better than the majority of people you pass in the street who do not spend a lot of time looking after their footwear. Now, the next stage, because we're moving along swiftly, will be the Sophia Medal d'Or normal wax polish. Now, many people think of wax polish as what they normally use and only what they apply to their shoes. But actually, for sort of shoe care aficionados, you will know that the wax polish comes after shoe cream in the process. So in this case, I'm going to apply an all-over layer of that wax polish to this pair of shoes to protect it all over. And then we're going to start to form that all-important layer after layer on the toe cap, which is basically how we acquire that mirror shine. So all I'm doing now, just using that polish, it goes a long way actually. All you need to do is pretty much tap your fingers in it to get a bit on your fingers, move it around the shoe, massage it in, get around all those contours. Quite easy on a cap toe Oxford because there are not many obstacles for you in the application of the polish. Of course, if you were polishing a pair of brogues, then you've got many little sort of the broguing, the holes in the shoe, which will make it a bit more difficult. But then again, it's all surmountable. All you do is you apply it carefully, and then you make sure that it all comes off when you brush it. So once again, that's it. Simple as that. Trying to show how easy it is to apply a mirror shine to your shoes as well. This is not some sort of rocket science or black arts. It's a very simple process of building up layers of polish over your shoe. I've only applied one layer here, and as you can see, it took me just a moment or two to do that. Again, with the other products, same as those, we just wait for that application to dry, and you can tell it's dry because it sort of goes a misty, you know, it's not wet, it's a misty dried. Again, our good friend the brush, apply the brush liberally all over the shoe, building up friction and heat in the process. That's why it's easier to do if you've got a good quality brush. And there we go. Already the shoe is now starting to shine. It's starting to shine. Not only is it starting to shine, but importantly for somebody who spends money on these shoes, the shoe is protected. It's going to be able now to repel water. When you walk down the street in the winter, particularly in this country, you know, where there's salt on the roads to aid road users, you know, you're now not going to have damage to your shoe because there is that layer of protection, that wax layer between the shoe and the outside environment. Now, I hope you can see there's a shine forming on this toe cap, on this shoe already. And we've treated the whole shoe the same. I haven't done nothing to the sole, not going to polish that today. But the shoe now is ready to acquire a mirror shine. Now in this instance, I'm going to apply a mirror shine to the toe cap, and only the toe cap. Some people, you know, like they often hear of them doing it on the rear quarters of the shoe as well, but for me, the toe cap only. That's important because you can't build up a mirror shine on any part of the shoe where the leather will flex, because the mirror shine is not malleable. It will need to be a solid piece of the leather. So that's how we're going to do that. Right, let's get ready for that phase. So now it's time for us to apply that final mirror shine, the bit that'll make the shoe pop, the bit that'll make us stand out from the herd as somebody who looks after our appearance. And you know, in all walks of life, there are people who can do that, others who don't. Now to do that, I'm going to use this Saphir Medal d'Or Mirror Gloss. This is a product been around, oh God, I don't know, 5 or 6 years, I guess. And it's a product they brought out specifically to aid people who wanted to get that mirror shine. Now you can apply, and basically how it works, it's quite a dry polish. And it's got different waxes and oils and such in it, I imagine. But what it does, it allows you to build up the mirror shine. Now to get the mirror shine, you need to understand how that thing works. So basically we've got the leather, it's a natural product, we can see the pores in the leather, and it's, you know, if we were to zoom in on it, you can see that it's an undulating surface. It's not entirely smooth. Now to get that shine, we need to fill in all those little undulations, all those little pores and things like that with polish. Once we fill them in by applying layer after layer, tiny bit after tiny bit, then what we do is we go over it and we bring it to a fine shine just by buffing it over with, you know, in this case I'm going to use this cosmetic pad. Some people will prefer to use a cloth. Other people, you know, I know some people actually use their fingers. For me, the cosmetic pad is the way to go. Now, this is quite dry. So to aid us in this mission, to bring it up to a standard, to apply the polish and to polish it out, what we need to do, what I'm going to do, is to apply some simple H2O water. In the first instance, I'm just going to apply some water to my pad. Not so much that the pad is wet or anything like that, not sopping wet. All it is slightly damp. I'm going to fold the pad into a nice comfortable sort of pad, as you can see there. And I'm just going to get onto my mirror gloss. I'm going to get a good bit onto the end of my pad. Whoops, it's falling out there. I'm going to get a bit onto the end of my pad. There you go. And you can see how dry it is. And then I'm just going to apply it onto the toe cap. And apply it, and of course this pair of shoes, other than what you've seen me apply today, it has never had any product applied to it before. Never, ever. Not only that, but it's been in my garage, attic, various other storage positions in my life for the last 23 years. So this is probably a very good, you know, blank canvas to show how to apply the mirror shine. Now, it can be very disheartening at the early stages because all it seems we're doing is applying that polish and nothing seems to happen. It just doesn't seem to make any difference whatsoever. All you're doing is just, you know, applying polish and nothing happens. And there we go. Nothing seems to have changed at all with that first application. But what we've got to understand is this is a marathon, not a sprint, and the application of layer after layer after layer of shoe polish is what builds it up. 3, 4, 5, 6 layers, not uncommon until we start to see a bit of shine forming. The more we put on, the more it'll speed up the process. So here we are, folks. I've now put about 5 or 6 layers on, and it's starting to fill in those gaps, and we're starting to get a bit of a sheen coming through between the layers. And I'm not bringing it up to a fine shine between each layer. All I'm seeking to achieve at this point is to get the layers on, and you know, it's a fairly straightforward process, and it takes time. But to be honest, it's quite satisfying. It's not difficult, and it's one of those tasks which I actually quite enjoy doing, because, you know, the term is cathartic, isn't it? You know, it's mindless. You can do it. You can let your mind wander. It's a lot easier than, you know, going out for a run and letting your mind wander. This is one of those things you can do on a Sunday afternoon or a wet day when you sort of want to get your thoughts together. You can sit down and just plow on, getting your shoes in fantastic shine. And not only, you know, is it a nice thing to do, but actually, for the time that you've invested, you get a wonderful finish to your shoes, which, you know, when you start going out with a pair of finely polished shoes on, and you start to get those compliments that people will give you quite quickly, they'll say, oh, you know, look at how on earth did you get such a great shine on your shoes? Or who shines your shoes for you then? Before you know it, you know, you become known as the shiny shoe guy, which is a lot better than being known as the dirty shoe guy. So when I'm applying the polish, as you can see, I'm not messing around. I'm not letting it dry to any great degree, because I'm applying it rather slowly, and the polish is drying in the application. So I'm just putting it on layer after layer, and I'm just bringing it up to a mild shine, and then I'm applying another layer, because what I'm trying to do here is get the layers onto the surface of this leather, building them up to allow me, when I'm ready, which won't be too far off actually, and I've only been doing this for, you know, 6 minutes or so. I've been keeping an eye on the time. When I'm ready, when I've got enough layers down, I will be doing my final buff, and then, you know, the shoe is effectively mirror shined and ready to go out onto the streets to impress people that we meet, or for that special occasion, you know, when you go to your brother or sister's wedding, or you get married yourself, whatever the situation may be, or you just want to make that fantastic first impression at an important event, like a job interview or a promotion interview within your job, or, you know, you're meeting somebody important for the first time, and you just want to portray to them, you know, that you are somebody who has taken the effort to look their very best for this special occasion, this meeting, whatever it may be. So I'm just going to keep putting a few more layers on. Okay, right, so here we are. Now I've applied about 6 or 7 layers, and looking at my watch, I've been going at it for 9 minutes. So I've consciously been aware of the time. Now, I've got a lovely mirror shine beginning to form on this pair of shoes. And in fact, you know, with the mirror gloss, I could walk away now and it would look largely better than everybody else in town. What I'm going to do, and what I've found works best for me when I'm applying the mirror shine to my shoes, is now that I've applied the mirror gloss, I like to finish off with one application. Same sort of principle, using the pad. I'm just going to get a clean bit of the pad, which hasn't got any mirror gloss on it. I'm just going to get a little bit of the pad, turn it over, get myself a little wad of the pad again, just like that. And now I'm going to apply a fine layer of the normal modality or wax polish over those many layers of the mirror gloss, because what I find, the mirror gloss is very dry. As I say, that's how it builds up these layers faster and quicker than it would be if I was using this stuff alone. But I find that its finish is slightly different. It's not quite as deep in shine as when you apply the standard modality or wax polish. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to refresh the sort of water on the end of my pad there, one little spritz, that's all. And I'm just going to take a small layer, no more than that, of the modality or wax polish. And now I'm going to apply that over the layers of mirror shine, which I've already placed on the shoe. Now, the reason I'm doing this, as I say, is because the modality or wax polish, I believe, has got, different solvents within it to allow the wax to stay lubricated and to stay moist, really, because, the enemy of polish really is dehydration. When it dries out, it's of little use to anybody. But when you apply that modality or polish over the top of the mirror gloss, I find that it just, I don't know what it does, the chemical reaction, the melting, the solvents, they get to work and they just bring up a deeper shine within the mirror gloss than is just possible with the mirror gloss on its own. So if you want to get that last layer of fantastic mirror shine, all I'm doing now is going over the layers and layers of mirror gloss with that one little layer. It doesn't take very long at all, and we will have a beautiful shine to our shoe, hopefully. I can see it's actually come up rather well. As I say, this is a pair of shoes which hadn't seen any product at all in 25 years, been stuck in an attic, and if anything, this is a perfect pair of shoes to show you how to apply that fantastic mirror shine. And actually, it's worked rather well on this pair, I have to say. Now, you might find it disheartening when you're applying layer after layer, but if you do it, like I've just done there, it's taken me no more than 10 minutes of layering that over and over again, not hanging around between applications, just getting straight on, putting another layer on, another layer on, another layer on, and before you know it, you've got a wonderful shiny pair of shoes. And there we go. Actually, that took me 12 minutes from the first application of the mirror gloss. Now I'm at the point where I have applied the mirror gloss to my satisfaction. I finished off with a layer of the modality or normal shoe cream. My shoe is finished. It is ready, and I would be more than happy to wear that at any occasion. You can see, hopefully, that the toe cap is absolutely gleaming, shining to a wonderful degree, and that has taken minutes. Now, appreciate there's two shoes in every pair, and you need to do this again to the other pair, but if you put aside, say, 45 minutes, you will have a spectacular shine to your shoes. Now, bearing in mind, these shoes had never been treated with anything, so you saw me taking them from the very early stages of having nothing. So I've conditioned them, I've applied shoe cream, I've applied one layer of all over shoe wax, and then I concentrated on a mirror shine, which I was able to achieve on this pair of shoes in a relatively short period of time of 12 minutes on that shoe toe cap, taking it from nothing to that. And now I'd be quite happy to wear this on parade or wear it to any event where I would be desirous of making an initial first impression. Now, as anything, I didn't do anything to the other shoe, so we've got the ideal comparison here, and hopefully you can see the difference. I might put some photographs in some natural light at the end so you can see the real difference there, but there is no comparison. One is dull, it's drab, it's not going to impress anybody. The other is sparkling, it's glimmering, it's shiny. It says the person wearing these shoes has gone the extra mile. They have prepared these shoes, they've looked after them, they've presented them in such a way today that it shows that they care about themselves and they care about making an impression. And that's what makes a difference when we are applying for a job, an interview, or whatever. Look at that. Yeah. Well, I hope you enjoyed that journey with that particular pair of shoes, and you can see the value that comes to, you know, the improvement to a pair of shoes if you spend a bit of time, invest that effort, and you can end up with a spectacular finish to a pair of shoes which can't be replicated in any other way. And I think that's why people appreciate and respect somebody who's got a mirror shine on their shoes, because they know the only way you can have acquired that is by putting the time and the effort in to get that shine. So well worth applying to those shoes that you're going to wear on those special occasions, or where you want to present yourself in the best possible light. So if you're going for a job interview, if you're going to, you know, meet the Prime Minister or the Queen or whatever your situation where you are, you know, it's going to be the smartest occasions. Or if you're just a generally dapper chap, you know, and you want to maintain that shine going forwards, you can wear them every day. It's not that difficult to maintain once you put that shine on. So I hope you've enjoyed this video today and you've learned something, if nothing else. If you have, please don't forget to click the like button, because I like to know that you're enjoying what I put out there. And if you want us to support the channel, click that subscribe function as well. That way you won't miss anything that we put out in the future, and there'll be more shoe care sort of products coming out in the future too. Also, if you've got any good ideas yourself about shoe care, or if you take an adverse view to anything which I've spoken about today, let me know in the comments below. It's a two-way conversation. I love to engage with the people who watch this video, so please don't be shy, leave a message for me. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Until then, please take care and look chap.